Good evening. Tonight on World News, diplomacy, deterrence, and the dangerous gaps in global accountability. From a high stakes peace pitch at Mar-a-Lago that could redraw the future of the Ukraine war to troubling questions over how American weapons are tracked in an active conflict zone and escalating military pressure in the Taiwan Strait where China is tightening the screws. This is World News. Let's begin. Major developments are emerging in efforts to end the war in Ukraine. US President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky have met at Mar-a-Lago discussing what they describe as an ambitious peace framework. Both sides claim nearly 90% of the plan is agreed, including US and European security guarantees, demilitarized zones, and up to $800 billion in reconstruction aid. But the unresolved questions are the most explosive ones. Take a look.
President Donald Trump met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at Mar-a-Lago on Sunday in a high-stakes discussion aimed at ending the nearly four-year conflict in eastern Ukraine. The leaders greeted each other warmly, and Trump struck an optimistic tone, telling reporters that the sides have the makings of a deal. After their private talks, both leaders spoke at a joint press conference, highlighting progress on a 20-point peace proposal put forward by Zelensky. Trump described the meeting as excellent and said, quote, "We have made a lot of progress on ending that war." Zelensky confirmed that negotiators have agreed on approximately 90% of the points in his plan. The meeting included key U.S. officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, alongside Ukrainian officials like Rustem Umerov and Ambassador Olha Stefanishina. Zelensky's framework builds on a previous 28-point plan from the Trump administration. It includes security guarantees from the U.S. and Europe, a defined timeline for Ukraine's EU membership, and maintenance of the Ukrainian armed forces at current levels of 800,000. The plan also proposes demilitarized zones in Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson, with Russian forces withdrawing from other key regions, including Dnipropetrovsk, Mykolaiv, Sumy, and Kharkiv. Additionally, Ukraine would receive $800 billion in aid to rebuild its infrastructure and economy after the war. Trump acknowledged that land disputes remain a sticking point, noting that some territory is contested and could be taken in the coming months, making an agreement urgent. Zelensky stressed respect for Ukraine's controlled territory, while also emphasizing that further discussions are needed. The leaders agreed to meet again in the coming weeks, potentially in Washington, along with European leaders, to finalize all aspects of the peace framework. Trump expressed cautious optimism, saying, quote, "We'll see if it gets done, but it's very close."
Moving on now, a new report by the Pentagon's Inspector General has revealed serious lapses in how the United States tracked its weapons supplied to Israel following the October 7 Hamas attack. According to the findings, the United States Department of Defense improperly tracked large portions of military equipment sent to the Israel Defense Forces under more than $13 billion in aid. This report from Oneindia's international desk has more.
The Pentagon has once again come under scrutiny for losing track of billions of dollars worth of weapons sent to Israel. A recent report from the Pentagon's Inspector General reveals a startling reality. Most of the weapons and military equipment supplied to the Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF, following the Hamas attacks in October 2023 were not properly tracked. This concerns a massive $13.4 billion military aid package from the United States. Before the conflict, the Pentagon maintained records for 69% of defense products that required enhanced monitoring. But after the war began, that number plummeted to just 44%. The reasons? Two main factors stand out. First, staff shortages, and second, a rapidly changing operational environment in Israel where American-supplied weapons were being used so quickly that U.S. personnel simply could not keep up with documentation. Between October 2023 and April 2024 alone, over 4 million munitions across 42 shipments went untracked. Most of this equipment was already being used in Israel's extended military operations, making it nearly impossible to account for. The report does not provide a specific list of missing weapons, but experts suggest it could include everything from aviation and artillery munitions to small arms ammunition. This is not the first time the U.S. has faced such tracking problems. A similar situation occurred in Iraq between 2013 and 2017, yet, according to the report, no effective mechanisms were developed to prevent it from happening again. The issue raises broader questions about U.S. weapons accountability. In fact, recent data from September of this year revealed the Army could not locate nearly $1 billion worth of munitions, including advanced missile systems like that. Defense analysts point out that the problem is not limited to ground munitions. In 2022, the U.S. ordered fewer precision-guided bombs like JDAMs and SDBs than Israel dropped in just 6 days of combat operations during the war. The Pentagon's inability to track these weapons highlights a critical weakness in the U.S. military supply chain, one that could have significant implications, not just for accountability, but also for global security. As the situation in Israel continues, questions of oversight, logistics, and transparency in military aid are likely to grow louder, putting pressure on U.S. defense officials to ensure that history does not repeat itself. For now, the report serves as a stark reminder. Billions of dollars in weapons can be sent overseas, but keeping track of them is another story entirely.
Now, tensions in the Taiwan Strait are escalating sharply. Tonight, Taiwan has condemned China's latest round of military drills near its borders, accusing Beijing of intimidation and destabilizing regional peace. The Taiwanese Defense Ministry has said that its forces are on high alert, responding with rapid readiness exercises and accelerated deployment of its naval assets.
The sound of gunfire echoes across the Taiwan Strait, not from war, but from drills that many fear are edging dangerously close to one. China has launched large-scale live-fire military exercises encircling Taiwan, simulating a blockade of the island's key ports. For Taipei, this is no routine show of force, it's a direct threat. As warships, fighter jets, bombers, and drones move into position, Taiwan is asking a question the world is quietly asking too. Is another war loading? Beijing claims Taiwan as part of its sovereign territory and has never ruled out using force to take control of the self-ruled island. On Monday, China's military announced Justice Mission 2025, a sweeping operation involving Army, Navy, Air Force, and rocket forces. The drills include sea-air combat patrols, joint seizure of dominance, and all-dimensional deterrence, language that signals preparation, not practice. Chinese authorities even released maps marking 5 danger zones surrounding Taiwan, warning ships and aircraft to stay away. Taipei has condemned the exercises as blatant military intimidation and a violation of international norms.
维持台海与印太和平稳定是国际社会高度的共识。中国解放军在我国周边实施针对性的军事演习，不仅粗暴破坏了台海以及印太区域的安全稳定现状，更是对国际法与国际秩序的公然挑战。对于中国当局无视国际规范，以军事恫吓手段威胁周边国家，我国表达严厉的谴责。
Taiwan's defense ministry reports detecting 89 Chinese military aircraft in a single day, the highest number since October last year, along with 28 warships and Coast Guard vessels. Some of the designated drill zones fall within 12 nautical miles of Taiwan's coast, disrupting global shipping and aviation routes. Taiwan's military has activated a rapid response center and deployed forces across land, sea, and air. The pressure isn't just military. Taiwan's Civil Aviation Administration says China declared a temporary danger area for 10 hours, forcing airlines to assess alternate routes. The Coast Guard has pre-positioned large vessels and sent additional support units to sensitive areas. Officials warn these actions risk destabilizing not just Taiwan, but one of the world's most vital trade corridors. China insists the drills are a stern warning against what it calls separatist forces. State media has amplified the message with fiery propaganda, posters showing arrows of justice striking Taiwan, and AI-generated videos depicting animal predators transforming into Chinese weapons. State broadcasters CCTV says the core goal is a blockade, targeting ports like Keelung and Kaohsiung, critical to Taiwan's economy and survival. The timing is no coincidence. The drills follow major U.S. arms sales to Taiwan, nearly $11 billion worth, prompting Beijing to warn of imminent war and sanction American defense firms. For Taiwan, the message is clear: pressure is intensifying. For the region, the risk is growing.
China, meanwhile, has launched live firearms involving air, navy, and rocket forces, describing them as a stern warning against separatism and external interference. Taiwan reports detecting at least 14 Chinese naval vessels, 14 Coast Guard ships, and 89 aircraft, with dozens entering its response zones. Here's the latest.
China has launched one of its largest and most complex military drills yet around Taiwan. The operation is called Justice Mission 2025, and it has immediately raised fears that these drills could be more than simple training and could even be a dress rehearsal for a future conflict. Let's break down what's happening, why it matters, and what the risks are. China's People's Liberation Army Eastern Theater Command began the exercises on December 29, 2025. They cover multiple regions around Taiwan: north, southwest, southeast, and east, including the Taiwan Strait. This is not a small-scale drill. It involves the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Rocket Force, with live fire exercises beginning at 8 a.m. local time on December 30th. Chinese officials are calling the drills a stern warning to what they describe as Taiwan independence forces and to external interference. That message is clearly aimed at the United States after Washington approved an $11 billion arms sale to Taiwan, the largest ever. Operations include sea air patrols, mock blockades of key ports like Keelung and Kaohsiung, and coordinated naval air exercises that simulate encircling the island. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense has condemned the drills as irrational provocations that threaten peace in the region. Taiwan's military has gone on high alert, launching rapid response drills, deploying its Navy and Air Force, and activating coastal missile systems. This marks the largest-scale Chinese exercise since previous operations like Joint Sword and the first major drill under the new U.S. administration. These drills closely resemble a real-world invasion scenario. China is practicing blockading ports, seizing key areas, and isolating Taiwan militarily and economically. And that's why fears are now at their highest point in years. U.S. military assessments say China aims to be ready to win a war over Taiwan by 2027. analysts believe a full-scale invasion is still unlikely in the near term. The risks are massive: economic collapse, global sanctions, and devastating losses. But the scale and timing of these drills send a clear message. China wants the world to know it is prepared to escalate if it chooses to. Just before the drills began, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov publicly reaffirmed Moscow's support for China. He stated that Russia opposes Taiwan independence in any form and backs Beijing in defending its territorial claims. This highlights a growing Russo-Chinese strategic alignment, one that could complicate any Western response. So, the big question: could this spark World War III? If China were ever to pivot from drills to an invasion, the consequences would be enormous. The U.S. is legally committed to help Taiwan defend itself, though military intervention is not guaranteed. U.S. responses could include sanctions, weapon shipments, intelligence support, or even enforcing no-fly or naval zones. If fighting escalated and U.S. allies joined in, that could potentially put China and Russia on one side and Western powers on the other. And because Taiwan produces the majority of the world's advanced semiconductors, a conflict there would shake the entire global economy. For now, these drills are military exercises, not war, but they show how quickly training can blur into escalation.
So, peace talks, accountability failures, and military muscle flexing. Tonight's developments underline a single truth: the world's fault lines are no longer theoretical. They are active, armed, and accelerating. That's world news for you. We will continue tracking the stories shaping global power here on Oneindia.